School resource officers weren't even on the actual meeting agenda, but during the public comment section of the meeting, you had district employees, parents, even students expressing their concerns over a gun being found at Linda Abril Academy on Tuesday, and then again at Maryville High School today. Fortunately, everyone okay after each situation, but multiple people who spoke to the district board members today told them that policies need to change moving forward. Some pushed for better communication between students, teachers, parents, and administration. Others suggested using clear bags to better identify any potentially dangerous weapons like guns. There were some, including a Maryville High School teacher, who praised the way that law enforcement reacted to today's incident at the school. Another Maryville teacher described the harrowing experience of what happened.
A swarm of panicked students ran into my classroom yelling the words no educator should or ever wants to hear. Shooter on campus! Shooter on campus!
Our systems are in place. We do send out communication immediately when a lockdown's called. We send a communication whenever the lockdown's lifted.
Richard Franco, the Phoenix Union Director of Marketing and Communications, confirming that there was a lockdown today at Maryville High School. It lasted around 10 to 15 minutes, but there were issues on communicating this lockdown over the loudspeakers. He says the district is looking into what happened. Moving forward, district board members did say in tonight's meeting that they're looking into other ways to improve school safety beyond law enforcement. One of those ways potentially is using artificial intelligence. In Phoenix, Elliot Polikoff, Arizona's Family.